Christian Horner's sudden departure from Red Bull Racing has sent shockwaves reverberating throughout the Formula One paddock, signaling the dramatic end of a two-decade reign during what many are calling the most turbulent period in the team's history. In a move that stunned the motorsport world, Red Bull terminated Horner's contract mid-season and swiftly appointed Laurent Mekies, the former team principal of sister outfit Racing Bulls, as his successor. The implications of Horner's unexpected exit are profound, raising urgent questions about Red Bull's future competitiveness, the stability of their star driver Max Verstappen, and crucially, what lies ahead for Horner himself. His tenure at Red Bull was nothing short of legendary. Under his leadership, the Milton Keynes-based team evolved from a promising newcomer into a dominant powerhouse, securing 8 drivers' championships and multiple constructors' titles. Horner's sharp strategic acumen, exceptional management skills, and talent for uniting the team around its star drivers helped establish Red Bull Racing as a fearsome force on the grid. Yet the recent dramatic unraveling serves as a stark reminder. Even the most powerful dynasties in Formula One are vulnerable to internal discord and external pressure. The first signs of tension began to surface subtly during the 2023 season. Despite Verstappen clinching his 4th consecutive title, the foundations behind the scenes were beginning to crack. Key personnel began exiting the team, most notably technical leader Rob Marshall, who defected to rivals McLaren. Meanwhile, growing friction between Red Bull's Austrian and Thai ownership factions hinted at deeper structural issues. Horner worked hard to project unity, maintaining a confident front even as internal strains started escalating. But by early 2024, those cracks had widened into clear fractures. Persistent rumors of dissatisfaction within the factory were now coupled with growing concern from Verstappen's camp about the team's direction and long-term competitiveness. Then came a seismic disruption. In February, Red Bull launched a formal investigation into allegations of inappropriate conduct against Horner. Though quickly cleared of any wrongdoing, the inquiry left a cloud of doubt and seriously dented team morale. Sources close to the team admitted privately that trust between Horner and Red Bull's top brass had eroded, changing the dynamic within the team irreversibly. As the 2024 season unfolded, Red Bull's internal stability continued to deteriorate. A major talent exodus followed, with Adrian Newey and Jonathan Wheatley both announcing their departures, compounding the team's already mounting technical setbacks. Performance began to slip. Rivals Ferrari and McLaren rapidly closed the gap, and speculation around Verstappen's potential departure reached a fever pitch. Frustrated by the team's direction and dwindling competitiveness, Verstappen's future became a constant point of discussion in the paddock. Horner, facing immense pressure, made repeated attempts to stabilize the situation, but by this point, the internal divisions were increasingly visible and impossible to ignore. Through late 2024 and into the 2025 season, turmoil intensified. A bitter power struggle between Red Bull's Austrian and Thai owners reached a boiling point, and Horner's longtime supporters began losing faith amid persistent poor performances and rising driver dissatisfaction. Verstappen's open criticism of the team's trajectory and their failure to match a resurgent McLaren and Ferrari only added fuel to the fire. The breaking point came during the disastrous summer stretch of 2025. At the British Grand Prix, Verstappen managed only a disappointing 5th-place finish, while teammate Yuki Tsunoda once again failed to score points. Frustration erupted behind closed doors, triggering emergency meetings among Red Bull's senior leadership. At a decisive boardroom showdown held at the team's Milton Keynes headquarters, key figures Shalom Uvidja, Mark Mateschitz, and Oliver Mintzlaff reached unanimous agreement. Immediate action was needed. And so, on the 9th of July, 2025, the axe fell. Horner's illustrious 20-year journey with Red Bull Racing came to an abrupt and unceremonious end, leaving a massive void in the team's leadership during a time of critical transformation. Red Bull issued a carefully worded statement expressing gratitude for Horner's invaluable contributions, calling him a key architect of the team's sustained success. Mintzlaff echoed those sentiments publicly, highlighting Horner's central role in building one of the greatest modern teams in Formula One history. Simultaneously, Laurent Mekies assumed operational control, stepping into the role amid intense internal discord and with monumental challenges ahead, not least of which is the looming regulation shift in 2026. Still, amid all the chaos, the spotlight now turns toward Horner's future. Rumors have exploded, linking the seasoned team principal to none other than Ferrari. Speculation is mounting that Maranello could be his next destination. Despite holding a relatively strong position in the constructors' standings, Ferrari remains winless in 2025 and is trailing McLaren significantly. The pressure is mounting on current principal Fred Vasseur, and sources within the Italian motorsport world suggest Ferrari's top management is actively exploring leadership alternatives. Interestingly, the idea of Horner leading Ferrari isn't entirely new. Red Bull advisor Helmut Marko once revealed that Horner nearly accepted an offer to replace Mattia Binotto at Ferrari in late 2022. Marko even admitted to personally intervening to keep Horner at Red Bull, a move he later said cost the team millions in incentives. Now, free from his long-standing Red Bull obligations, the possibility of Horner finally making the jump to Ferrari feels more plausible than ever. And in his past remarks, Horner has shown a deep understanding of the unique challenges facing the iconic Italian team. He previously criticized Ferrari's cumbersome decision-making processes, which he claimed were heavily influenced by internal politics and the relentless pressure of the Italian media. Horner argued that Ferrari's greatest obstacle was its identity as a national institution, rather than a streamlined, performance-driven racing team. He urged the Scuderia to adopt a bold, decisive leadership style, much like Red Bull's approach that allowed for quicker, more strategic execution. If Ferrari were to succeed in securing Horner's services, his immediate priority would undoubtedly be to reshape the team into a nimble, agile operation capable of making daring decisions under pressure. These are the very qualities that have defined his leadership throughout 2 decades of dominance at Red Bull. Ferrari's pursuit of Horner reflects their deep-rooted desperation to return to the summit of Formula One. The legendary Italian outfit's ongoing struggles only intensify the urgency to bring in a proven winner, someone with the pedigree and authority to guide them back to glory. In that context, Horner's track record and experience align perfectly with Ferrari's ambitions, hinting at a potentially transformative partnership. Yet, Horner himself remains tight-lipped about the rumors swirling around him. As recently as the Spanish Grand Prix, he downplayed any link to Ferrari, reiterating his full commitment to Red Bull. But the landscape has shifted drastically since then. With his long-standing allegiance to Red Bull now severed, Horner faces a defining crossroads. Will he step away from the sport entirely, take a much-needed break, or accept the monumental challenge Ferrari now offers? Meanwhile, Max Verstappen's future adds another explosive element to the unfolding drama. The Dutch driver's growing frustration and uncertainty about the team's direction mirrors the wider instability now engulfing Red Bull's Milton Keynes headquarters. Verstappen's manager recently voiced clear disappointment over Horner's departure, further stoking concerns that the reigning world champion might soon entertain offers from elsewhere. This turbulence at Red Bull not only threatens their performance but puts their most valuable asset, Verstappen, at risk. The team stands at a precipice in the post-Horner era, facing enormous challenges in preserving its competitiveness and retaining its superstar. Ultimately, Christian Horner's dramatic exit from Red Bull Racing marks far more than the end of a personal journey. It represents a pivotal turning point for both Red Bull and potentially Ferrari, with far-reaching consequences for the entire Formula One landscape. The way Red Bull regroups under Laurent Mekies, the path Verstappen chooses, and whether Ferrari capitalizes on this historic opportunity to acquire Horner will collectively shape the next chapter in Formula One's ever-intensifying saga. That's why the upcoming Belgian Grand Prix carries weight far beyond a single race weekend. It will offer the first real glimpse into Red Bull's future without Christian Horner. And as the motorsport world watches with bated breath to see if Ferrari makes its move, one thing remains crystal clear. Horner's departure signals the end of an extraordinary era and the beginning of a new, unpredictable, yet utterly captivating chapter. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments below.